Hello everybody on the Universe of the Blue Tubers channel. This is your Blue Tuber 22 Tiger Dude, aka Tony, and welcome to my top 5 disappointing movies of summer 2016. I already did top 5 surprising. If you guys have missed that, I will definitely leave a link in the description down below. These are the movies I was honestly really looking forward to, and they've honestly really let me down. I do have honorable mentions, unlike with my surprising where I had no honorable mentions. I actually do have honorable mentions this time. These are in the following order. Number 12, Alice Through the Looking Glass. Number 11, Hands of Stone. Number 10, Now You See Me Too. Number 9, The Fundamentals of Caring. Number 8, Pete's Dragon. Number 7, The Legend of Tarzan. And number 6, the BFG. Now we're going to get into the top 5, the movies I was really raising my anticipation level for, and they just didn't deliver. So number 5 is a movie I've been looking forward to for 2 years, ever since back in 2014 when they announced this cast. I was excited for this film, and you could say I was more excited for it for the cast, but then I saw a trailer and I got really pumped for it. I saw the movie, and my number 5 is going to be Central Intelligence. Now, Central Intelligence I consider a decent movie. Sure, it was entertaining, sure, it was fun, but I was hoping that this would be a memorable film. I can't quite say this is a good comedy, just a fun one, but it's just one of those movies that I was hoping would be really rewatchable, and honestly, it's not really a rewatchable movie. Maybe if HBO shows it, I can maybe sit down and watch it if I have nothing better to do, but besides that, it's just a one and done movie for me. Central Intelligence wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, sure, it did have its moments, and the film is definitely entertaining just for The Rock and Kevin Hart's chemistry alone. It just wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be. The script wasn't as strong as I thought it was going to be, and the movie just gets really, really freaking convoluted to the point where I'm all like, okay, wait, but what? I'm really scratching my head because the movie just gets more convoluted as it's going along. Now, granted, I did have a better time with this film than I did with what my number 4 is gonna be, but still, it did let me down, honestly. Sure, it was entertaining. I can't say I was bored watching it, but I was really hoping for more when I walked out of this film. Now my number 4 is another comedy, and that film is Neighbors 2: Sorority Rising. Yes, out of the comedies I was disappointed in, I definitely did have a better time with Central Intelligence, but Neighbors 2: Sorority Rising, I was really excited for this film because I really enjoyed the first Neighbors. I thought the first Neighbors was just a solid, pretty good comedy. I was hoping that the second one would be the same thing, being one of those times where the sequel could be at least as good as the original, or if not, maybe even be better than the original, and oh man, that's not the case at all. Neighbors 2: Sorority Rising was not a very funny comedy. It's not a very memorable comedy, and it completely wastes the potential of being this really solid comedy, to be honest. I just felt like a lot of the humor really fell flat, which I was surprised by. You would think there would be more hits than misses, but no, in this case there were more misses than there were hits, in my opinion. I still did like the cast. I know people had complaints with Chloe Grace Moretz and the girls. I'm actually in the minority. I actually liked Chloe Moretz. I thought she was still a lot of fun to watch here. That's where I am definitely in the minority with this film, but besides that, I didn't think this film was really as funny as far as comedy sequels go. While it's not a bad comedy sequel, it's just not one that really stands out with me. And it definitely could have been a lot better. I mean, considering you have Seth Rogen and considering you have Nicholas Stoller, who I personally do really like, it's one of the most disappointing movies I've seen not only this summer, but of the year, because of me being a fan of the first, and Neighbors 2: Sorority Rising is just one of those forgettable comedy sequels. Not a terrible comedy sequel, but just a very forgettable one. Number 3 is a film that I was so hyped for. I really like the trailers for this certain film, because considering how much I love the original film, I know people wouldn't say the original film is like one of the greatest films ever, but I personally am a huge fan of the original film. So it really bums me out to see that a sequel that waited so long to come out becomes such a major disappointment. Number 3 is Independence Day Resurgence. What happened here? You have Roland Emmerich, who, by the way, I actually don't mind. I know a lot of people don't like Roland Emmerich. I'm actually one of the people that doesn't really mind him, to be honest. I actually don't think he's too bad of a director. I don't really mind most of his movies. I didn't mind The Day After Tomorrow. I didn't really mind 2012. I think I would even go on my way and say I actually really enjoyed, really enjoyed both those movies. I even really enjoyed White House Down. 10,000 BC I haven't seen since theaters, but you know, yeah, I have to go back and rewatch that one, but for I remember, I enjoyed that one. But this was a major misstep for Roland Emmerich, and I wouldn't say this is on the level of Godzilla 1998, because wow, that film was terrible. I don't want to say this film is at that level, but it just is one of those disappointing sequels in my opinion. I actually did love Independence Day. I know a lot of people say it's just like this fun movie. Independence Day to me is honestly the best disaster movie of all time. And why do I say that? Because, sure, it's not an Oscar-worthy movie, and not every movie I love has to be Oscar-worthy, but the reason I personally am on the love level with Independence Day is because I feel like as far as disaster movies go, it honestly got everything right. It had the cheesy dialogue, you had very charismatic and likable characters, there was a whole lot of fun factor to Independence Day. Even the scenes when the characters are just talking, when it gets a little bit more serious, I even think those are very well executed moments, and Roland Emmerich did such a great job. But Independence Day Resurgence, I actually really liked the first half. I thought the first half delivered everything that I loved about Independence Day, and the second half just completely goes downhill. The movie is so boring. You have an unnecessary subplot dealing with these kids. Like, why in the hell are these kids in this film? And the climax. Now, normally when I don't like a movie, the one thing I normally say for the most part is that the climax is a lot of fun. Not with Independence Day Resurgence. I felt no tension with the climax. I had no fun with the climax. I was bored. And it is just one of the most underwhelming and boring climaxes I've honestly seen this year. That was wow. And not to mention that this movie really lacked the charisma of the first film, and you definitely do really miss Will Smith. So Independence Day Resurgence by far is one of the most disappointing movies of the summer and of the year. I expected so much more, and it definitely was not what I was hoping for. Number 2 is what I consider the most disappointing comic book movie of the year, Suicide Squad. Now, I have a very minority opinion. I am aware of that when it comes to Deadpool. I'm actually not a fan of Deadpool. I actually think Deadpool is overhyped. I didn't think it lived up to the potential that that movie had, in my opinion. After I saw Deadpool earlier this year, I said to myself, there's no way a movie later this year can beat Deadpool as the most disappointing comic book movie of the year. After I saw Suicide Squad, I said, wow, I can't believe I saw a comic book movie that actually beat Deadpool as the most disappointing comic book movie of the year. Oh man, Suicide Squad. what happened here. I didn't find Suicide Squad to be terrible, as I did really like it for like the first 30 to 40 minutes. I thought the cinematography was great. I actually really liked the music choices. I know some people were really bothered by that, but I actually really liked the music choices that they had for Suicide Squad. The action, when it's there, it's actually pretty fun. Not the best action, however, but it's pretty fun at least. The movie is such a mess, especially when it gets to the final act. Holy hell, that climax. That was so rushed. That was so messy. And the visual effects really were not that impressive. Just wow, what did I watch? But the main antagonist, yeah, one of the weakest antagonists of this year, did not really get into that antagonist at all, and I was not a fan of Jared Leto's Joker. I'm just not a fan of the whole punk, gangster looking Joker. I really couldn't stand that. His performance is good, but as far as the Joker and the look, I was not very convinced, to be honest. It's just so rushed. The editing is so freaking choppy. Every time someone brings up this film, I honestly really forget that this film even came out, because it's really not one of those films that really sticks out with me. It really is not memorable at all. Like X-Men Apocalypse, I can remember more than this film. I can remember Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice more than this film. And of course, Captain America Civil War, which is without a doubt my favorite superhero movie of the year. I could definitely remember that one way more than this piece of meh movie. Number one, I was really hyped. Even before seeing the trailers, I was really hyped. Why? Because I really liked this certain franchise. My number one most disappointing movie of the summer, and honestly of the year, is Jason Bourne. Now, I know a lot of people didn't like the Bourne legacy, and I can understand why. I do understand why. But I actually find the Bourne legacy to be very underrated. I actually thought that was a very well-made film, and I thought Tony Gilroy, who wrote the first three the Bourne movies. Yeah, he actually wrote the first three Bourne movies, including the Bourne Legacy. He wrote the Bourne Legacy, and not only that, but he actually directed the Bourne Legacy. However, Tony Gilroy did not write Jason Bourne. In fact, he's not even involved in Jason Bourne at all. So it has me wondering if Tony Gilroy wrote Jason Bourne just like he wrote Identity, Supremacy, Ultimatum, and Legacy, if Jason Bourne could have been honestly as good as those films. Because Paul Greengrass actually wrote Jason Bourne this time around. And the last time Paul Greengrass actually wrote a film was for United 93. So technically 10 years since he's actually written the script for a film. I think this is a fun and very awesome franchise just all around, including Bourne Legacy, because I actually thought how they explored the Aaron Cross character was very interesting and very compelling. And it was more compelling than Jason Bourne. It's really missing the complexity of the first three Matt Damon films. The movie just jumps around way too much to actually follow what's actually going on. And Paul Greengrass, you master shaky cam so well. But why is the shaky cam in this film so nauseating? Seriously, guys, I actually saw at least 5 people at my screen for this film walking out because they were getting so nauseous from the shaky cam, and I don't blame them. I actually felt a little bit dizzy because the shaky cam was just so. Oh, look at that! Oh, motorcycle, gun shoot. Ah, shoot! What went wrong, Paul Greengrass? You handle shaky cam well. Why'd you go out of control with it? And Jason Bourne, it was freaking nuts. Oh yeah, not to mention Julia Stiles, which it was great to see her, but how this movie even handled her character, I'm not gonna lie, it was a slap in the face, and I was honestly frustrated. I do like the cinematography, and Matt Damon still owns it as Jason Bourne. Tommy Lee Jones is really good in this film, really great actually, and Alicia Vikander, even though something I didn't really bring up in my review on my 22 Tiger channel, she did talk like a robot in some scenes, I will say that. Even though she did talk like a robot in some scenes, I still thought she was really good. You know, the performances were pretty good, honestly. They were all really good. Didn't really have a problem with performances. It's just from the filmmaking with the action sequences, the storytelling, and even some of the dialogue, I was so surprised, was not that great. Like, it had some really rough dialogue to go along with it. I was so bummed. I walked out of the theater so depressed because this could have been good. You know, it didn't have to be great, but it could have been good at least, and I would have been happy with it. I would have been so happy with this being at least a good movie. But this movie is far from that. Just to let you guys know, if I give a movie 2 out of 4 stars on my 22 Tiger Dude channel, it's either a C or a C minus. You know how disappointing this film is? It's a C minus if I was doing letter grades. I don't think it's a shit film. You know, it may sound like I'm ranting on this film, and yeah, it is kind of like a rant, but that's just because this film had the potential. It's not me ranting on it because it's shitty. It's me honestly ranting on it because it had potential to be so much better, and it just doesn't reach to that potential. It's a lame movie. I don't think it's a bad movie, but I am frustrated that it wasn't better. I don't know if a film will beat Jason Bourne as the most disappointing of the year. We'll have to see. But for summer, oh, nothing is topping this. This is hands down the most disappointing of the summer for me. So you guys, thank you so much for watching my top 5 disappointing movies of summer 2016. And thank you once again for watching The Surprising as well, which I will leave in the description and probably at the end this video. So as always, you guys, thank you so much for watching this here on Universe of the Blue Tubers. This is your Blue Tuber 22 Tiger Dude here, and don't forget that I will always have Tiger Power. Blue Tuber Tony, aka 22 Tiger Dude, and welcome to the Universe of the Blue Tubers channel. As yes, I am going to be doing top 5 surprising movies of summer.
But thank you, Tony. I am, of course, Kevin Falk. You guys know me. I've been on many of Tony's live streams. If you guys have seen the